Was a drama school in Sydney, the young Australian-born Lebanese actor was given a blunt message. He was told there were only three kinds of roles that he would be offered: a terrorist, drug dealer or a gang rapist. So when he was offered his first lead in a feature film about Lebanese youths selling drugs, fearing he would be typecast, he turned it down. But Les Chantery was persuaded to change his mind by a director who set out to challenge those stereotypes. The result is the movie called Cedar Boys, and Anne-Maria Nicholson met some of the cast in the heart of the Lebanese community in Bankstown.
That's where he's from.
What? Nationality?
Yeah.
We're Australian.
Yeah, but what's your background?
We're from
Iran.
Right, really?
It's all the same, isn't it?
Our parents are from Lebanon.
So he's Muslim?
No. We're Jewish.
Cedar Boys is a classic tale of two cities. It captures the ethnic and social divides of Sydney through the stories of three Lebanese Australian friends. They're seduced by the dream of a better life, preferably in the eastern suburbs.
So where do you guys live?
Condell Park.
Bankstown.
Oh, where's that?
It's out west. Yeah?
Yeah, it's way out west in Sydney.
So did you guys plan this trip like last week?
That's pretty good. Did Daddy buy you a car this year?
Serhat Karadi lives and breathes films. New York tough guy flicks Mean Streets and Goodfellas are among his favourites. For his first feature, he wanted to portray Sydney's own outsiders. The Turkish-Australian filmmaker didn't have to look far. He grew up with young Lebanese boys around Homebush.
It's all your Lebo mates, Tarek.
I was just sick of seeing young Lebanese boys portrayed in such a one-dimensional way on our screens. I wanted to create three leads, the three Lebanese leads in an Australian feature film that hadn't been done before. And also, I just wanted to tell a unique, entertaining story that involved really cross-cultural kind of characters, and also a world that no one else has seen before, out west anyhow.
Can we buy you a drink?
Have you guys got Coke?
No.
Why would you say that?
I'm sorry, it's a bad joke.
Relax.
No. Do we look like drug dealers? Sure, bro, let's get out of here, man.
Come on, sit down. She was only joking.
Nab, come on.
We would love 2 glasses of champagne, thank you.
He chose three up-and-coming local actors who grew up feeling different and have suffered from the constant negative headlines about Australian Lebanese crimes.
I went to Condell Park High School, for example, and the majority of the people there, they were Australians. Obviously, it's multicultural, but you don't feel like it's multicultural. You feel like you're isolated. You feel like, they're the Lebanese boys. They hang out that area. They're troublemakers. And so when, kids walk past, it's like you feel like you're hated and you don't want to, they don't want to, speak to you, and they fear you. So as growing up as children, you start taking on that persona.
Because it's hard. Coming from the western suburbs, we all know how it feels. I mean, especially I'm married with 2 kids, Buddy's married with 2 kids, When you hear that there's so much negative media against the Lebanese people, you don't want to be associated with that. You don't want to be attached to that. You want to detach yourself from that. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, I'm not that person.
In his first leading role, NIDA graduate Les Chantery plays Tarek, a panel beater with a hankering for the good life. He comes from a hard-working migrant family, but his brother's in jail, and Tarek too is willing to take just one risk to win the jackpot.
He is on minimal wage, being a panel beater. He's ostracised where he works. His friends call him, a wog or whatever, and so comes this opportunity to just a one-off to turn all that around. I think if you've ever felt on the outside of society and somebody gives you a golden key and says, just one shot, take it, and your life will be different, it could be a fairy tale ending.
This is our country. We grew it.
Cedar Boys follows on the heels of The Combination, the controversial film about young Lebanese that divided audiences and was blamed for inciting violence among moviegoers. Serhat Karady believes his film is closer to reality. Good boys from good homes lured into crime.
And I think that's kind of a metaphor for a lot of young guys. They want something, they can't attain it, and they get impatient, and they get involved in a bad world or crime to get there. So the message would be, I want to show how these young Lebanese boys fall into crime, why they choose crime, and how easy they can sort of be influenced by others around them so they can get involved in such a bad world.
Cops behind us.
I'll just do a stolen check.
Sure, 3 Libas and a WRX in this area. You haven't got anything on you, have you?
Relax, Scuba, they'll just check your licence.
Got your licence there?
Yep.
So, what brings you boys to this area?
He cast Buddy Danoon as Nabil, the contract cleaner who instigates what he believes is the perfect, untraceable crime.
You think it'll end there? I was brought up in a rough environment. You know, basically, what I mean by that is just having a lot of Lebanese people who are deciding to do the wrong things in life. It's because media portrays us to be troublemakers, so to speak. So being brought up, obviously, I didn't want to be looked at as one of those people.
But in your opinion, you just mentioned it's not a real story, but could happen. What do you think?
Do you mean the main story or these characters' lives? Because
the character, the story in the film.
The story itself.
the story itself, I suppose it could happen. Yeah.
Well, it is happening. We had the shooting of Fadi Ibrahim in the Cross.
The filmmakers are promoting their film far and wide, including to the Middle Eastern newspaper El Telegraph, where discrimination is often on the agenda.
And even though I'm born here, raised here, I speak English. English is my mother tongue. I'm going to be called a Lebanese. So you don't fit in both worlds. So there is that identity crisis.
Yeah,
that identity.
You feel it?
I definitely feel it. Definitely feel it. I think the majority of the youth around here feel it because they don't get called Australian. They don't feel Australian.
Nobody wants to feel like they don't belong. And if you ostracize a group and you put a group in a corner and you say you're different from us and you don't belong, they're going to retaliate in some way. I think it's in our nature to try and win.
What do you guys do?
We're both interior designers.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Do you do cars? You see that, cuz? She took my number. You just never know, eh?
She felt sorry for you, dickhead.
While there's wit and humour, the ending is not happy. Wada Sari plays Sam, the flash, reckless street guy. He hopes young people will learn from the film.
Hopefully once they watch this film, they see what happens, the consequences, they realise, look, this is not the path to choose. That's the whole meaning of the movie. We want to show them this is not the life. This is not what this is not what you set out to do. You weren't born a drug dealer.
But there is a fairy tale feeling surrounding the film. It charmed audiences at the Sydney and Melbourne film festivals, and Les Chantery has just made his first Hollywood movie, playing a lawyer alongside movie greats Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
When I got out of NIDA, I think I auditioned for roles of drug dealers, terrorists, and gang rapists. So when I got to LA, and there was, within 6 weeks, I'm working with De Niro and Pacino playing a lawyer who graduated Harvard. You kind of think, well, I guess what was illuminated for me is that I think Australia, and I don't want to offend anybody out there, but I think we are about 20 years behind in terms of typecasting when it comes to our minority and ethnic actors in the country.
Serhat Karady is determined to be in the vanguard of change in Australian films, breaking down barriers and typecasting.
We need to sort of delve more into our multicultural, complex, suburban characters as well. And there's some really, really rich stories out here, really rich, positive stories you can tell.
The Reece State Government is now in open conflict with the Teachers' Federation